Hello again, Joe DeSanto here. I'm going to talk a little bit about longevity risk as it applies to retirement planning. Longevity risk is essentially the idea that now that we have, such great advances in medical care and so on, and those advances are going to continue to come our way with AI and nanotechnology and so on, we are going to generally be living a lot longer, well into our 90s and 100s, and that's going to become very common for people. Obviously, the longer you live, the longer you have to sustain yourself with your retirement funds. And therein lies longevity risk, the risk that you just live so long, you outlive your retirement. And potentially you outlive Social Security or Medicare. Our Social Security and Medicare systems, didn't really consider living into 90s and 100s as a common thing, I think, back when they were created. But, but also at the same time, Social Security and Medicare are funded by taxpayers of today. So new people paying into the system, maybe that will be the thing that helps it maintain its availability. However, with people having fewer kids, that means fewer new taxpayers into the system paying for all the old people. Obviously, there's some potential issue there. So, we can't solve every problem when it comes to longevity, but in terms of your own savings to retirement, nothing really is a substitute for doing the math. You can pretty easily in a spreadsheet map out the next 40 years of your savings and your investment growth and see how far you're going to get and if you're going to get to where you need to be. Generally, retirement planning, you kind of do in a reverse engineering sense. You say to yourself, where do I want to be when I retire? What's that going to cost? How much am I going to need as a pot of money to finance that? And then you say, okay, well, I'm this age now. I can save this much a year. Hopefully I get this kind of investing return on my savings. Will I reach that pot of money? Now, how you spend that pot of money relates to longevity risk as well. Obviously, generally speaking, the more you have, the better off you are. If you can have a pot of money that is so large that it produces enough income for you from the either interest, dividends, cash flow, whatever you want to call it, from the invested capital, while also keeping up with inflation, you would have a perpetual money machine, and longevity risk wouldn't be that much of a concern for you. But can you do that? That's a lot of money to have, probably up in the 2 million plus zone. And most people don't have that. So with your retirement, essentially you stop working, you stop having income, your pot of money will be producing some investment return, but if it's not, that investment return is not enough to cover your lifestyle, you also eat into the principal. And inevitably, once you start doing that, you're in a race to when you might run out. Solutions to that are obviously making more, saving more when you're young. But also, you could think about your retirement differently and approach it in a way where your ongoing living expenses in retirement are low or as low as they can be. A lot of people actually move overseas, move to Europe, move to South America, where the cost of living is often much cheaper than it is in America, and they can have their retirement savings last a lot longer. That's really a key component to having your retirement last a longer period of time, reducing your ongoing expenses. Some people go to South America and apparently live on $2,500 a month. I don't know if that's true or not. I read a lot about that in International Living magazine, and I always recommend it to everybody because it's fun to read. It's a good travel magazine as well, but it's all about finding less expensive places to retire. So check that out for sure. The other thing you can do is obviously be aware of what your Social Security is and maybe consider working longer so that you end up with more Social Security. The problem with working longer as a plan is that not always do you have the choice to work longer. Your job, could very well age you out, meaning, you're getting old and the new people are young and you're just cost too much and don't want to work enough and they figure out a way to get rid of you. Or your health causes problems so you can't work up to the level that you used to. So I don't think continuing work is the best strategy, but many people do work past retirement, at least oftentimes in a part-time capacity, just to supplement their income. So while I wouldn't make that like a linchpin of your plan, that is certainly possible and will help you deal with the longevity issue. But at some point, you live until 80, 90, 100, you're not going to work at, the Home Depot at 100 years old, I don't know. So this is a problem we all have, and I think we're going to have to address to some degree on a societal level and a government level, because I think just by and large, the world is not prepared for how long we could possibly live with the modern healthcare advances. So we'll see. We'll all be in this problem together, but something definitely to keep an eye on, especially if you're younger and you're building your retirement plan like now. Figure that you might, very well live to the age of 95 or 100, and try to start factoring that into your retirement plan sooner than later. All right. That probably wasn't helpful because I'm leaving you with just a giant scary question mark. But at least I can say you're not alone. We're all in that giant scary question mark pool together. All right, catch you in the next video. Bye.